Especially coming from a Hispanic family, I feel like financial literacy is not something that we talked about often in the house because I come from communist Cuba. And I feel like when you are in a space of communism, you're always just focused on like, can I get to the next day? And because we come from that mentality, now that we're in this capitalist society, it's hard for us to think of the future. And a lot of Hispanics are still focused on like, I need to get to the next day. I need to get to the next day. And they're not thinking of the future. Hello, beautifuls. My name is Giselle, co-host of the Strong Sunflowers podcast and founder and CEO of the Create app, an app created specifically for content creators. We should be launching in early November. So if that's something that you would be interested in, make sure that you follow us on Instagram. Today, I'm super excited. We're going to talk about 3 things that keep people broke and in poverty. Let's get right into it. These 3 topics came from Dan Martell. It was from a podcast that he did. I did not watch the podcast, but I did see this girl on TikTok and she was talking about it, and I thought it was really good. So number 1 thing keeping people poor and in poverty is playing the victim mode. And yes, we talk about accountability all the time on this YouTube channel, but playing the victim will literally keep you poor and in poverty. I grew up on food stamps, and there were times that my mom would be like, I'm not gonna go to work this week because my paycheck is gonna be too high and I need to go turn in my pay stubs for the government so they would give me food stamps. Growing up, I always thought that was so weird because I was like, why don't you just work more to make more money so you're not so dependent on the government? I feel like I've always been the black sheep of my family, and even though I come from communist Cuba, I am Hispanic, I am black, I'm Latina, I'm a woman, I'm all these things, right? All these minorities, but I've never focused on what I lack. I've always focused on what I can bring. So whether it was growing up and my mom put me in Barbizon school and I was super shy and I didn't do good in the classes, so I came back and I was like, okay, how can I take my power back? I joined choir, I joined theater, and there's nothing shy about me now, but I did the work to do that, and I didn't play the victim mode of like, oh my gosh, my mom never taught me. I got married at 19. My mom never taught me how to cook. She didn't taught me how to be a woman, basically. My mom was so focused on like working and providing, and she was such in her masculine era that she didn't do those things. I could have definitely stayed in that victim mentality of like, oh, my mom didn't teach me how to cook, so I don't know how to cook. You gotta teach yourself. Playing the victim does not allow you to grow. I think number 1, take accountability. Like, what role did you play in this? And I think a perfect example of that was in my marriage when I filed for divorce. It wasn't all my ex-husband's fault. There was a lot of shit that I was dealing with that I didn't communicate well, I didn't show up well, I didn't express my emotions the way that I needed to in a relationship. So taking accountability of that was humongous in how moving forward I was gonna have relationships with other people. 2, you have to learn how to shift your language from I can't to I can. Why can't you? Oh, I can't go to the gym because, I work all day. That's an excuse. Why don't you just go to the gym earlier? Why don't you go to sleep earlier? Why don't you stop watching Netflix? Why don't you stop scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is? Stop making up excuses of like why you're eating the way you're eating, why you're not working out, and this is going to me too, because I've been stress eating for these last couple of months and I feel horrendous in my body in the sense of like, okay, we're pushing it. So I'm slowly getting back to like, okay, we gotta nip this in the butt now because we don't want it to get so out of control that it's harder to reel it back in. But they do say you are what you say you are. So if you say that you are amazing, great, spectacular, brilliant, then you are those things. And if you say the opposite, guess what? You are those things too. Number 3, limit exposure to negative influence, and that includes you. Because sometimes we be toxic. We be talking to ourselves like so nasty. Like, oh, you're nothing. You're dumb. You don't deserve this. Why do we do that? Especially if we wouldn't say it to other people. And specifically not having people in our circles that talk like that. All my friends are that girl. All of my friends are that girl. All of my friends are capable, brilliant, stunning, gorgeous, rich. We are always speaking life into our life and into each other. So if your circle is not like that, baby, get them scissors and cut them out. Because misery loves company, and we ain't got time for that. The only company I want to have is somewhere on a yacht in Capri, baby. Fly me out. And of course, last but not least, definitely practicing gratitude. I feel like gratitude helps you not be in the misery of like, oh, what's going wrong? But focusing on like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for my body. I'm so thankful that I'm healthy. enough to like move it and to actually go work out. Like I have legs, I have arms, I'm able to see. Like what a gift it is to be alive. Stay on that mentality, because I promise you, the more grateful you are, the more you'll have things to be grateful for. The other thing that he says that is making us broke and in poverty is not knowing financial literacy and having poor money management skills. I couldn't agree more. According to MarketWatch, 66.2% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Especially coming from a Hispanic family, I feel like financial literacy is not something that we talked about often in the house, because I come from communist Cuba. And I feel like when you are in a space of communism, you're always just focused on like, can I get to the next day? And because we come from that mentality, now that we're in this capitalist society, it's hard for us to think of the future. And a lot of Hispanics are still focused on like, I need to get to the next day. I need to get to the next day. And they're not thinking of the future. I think one of the best books that changed the way that I look at money and helped me build a better relationship with money was The Secrets of a Millionaire's Mind. And in that book, I figured out what my blueprint was. Everybody has a blueprint, and it usually comes from our family. I grew up with a family that said all the time, money doesn't go on trees. We don't have enough money for that. We can't do that. X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. It was always a no. So when I turned 18, girl, you better believe I was spending it. I got my first credit card and I was spending money I didn't have. And I got into this loop because I got into this unhealthy relationship with money. And again, I didn't know financial literacy. And I got into this loop of spending money I didn't have, being miserable in a job that I hated, having to work to pay off these credit cards, then getting overwhelmed because I had to work so much, and then having to take another vacation, using the credit card to pay for it. And it was just like this cycle of ongoing and ongoing. And COVID really changed my life for the best. I'm so thankful. Really, like COVID was the year that I made the most money. I really just stopped. And that's when I found Dave Ramsey and I did his Total Money Makeover, which I 10 out of 10 recommend, with the 7 baby steps, which number 1, you save $1,000 of emergency funds. And then number 2, tackle all of your debt. And I did that all 2020. And by 2021, your girl was debt free and living her very best life. I had paid all my debt. I paid my car. I paid all my credit cards, which was like almost $20,000. Plus, I saved over 40 grand. Crazy to think about it now. I need 40 grand right now. Where they at though? Where they at? But those two combined really changed how I view money and really changed my relationship with money. And I think now as I get a little older, starting a business and all these things, especially with this business, we're talking about millions of dollars, definitely bringing people in to help you manage your money and have more financial literacy. Because if you're truly trying to have wealth, that's the number one thing that you need. So a couple of tips that I have for you is 1, delayed gratification. Know your needs and your wants. When I was going through 2020, 2021 and really saving money and paying my debt, I really needed to write down like, what are my needs? I need to eat, right? I need to pay my rent. I need to pay my car. I need to pay my phone bill. All those things are a need. What are my wants? I still want to travel. I don't think I travel much. I think I maybe went on like 1 vacation, not even, but like focusing all my efforts on like what the main goal was, which was to get out of debt. And delayed gratification was 125% worth it, because after putting all that hard work, I literally made a video on this about my season of yes. And I was literally swimming in the Maldives with manta rays in the Indian Ocean. Like, baby, I was skydiving in Dubai. Like, my yes season was out of control. And I know right now I'm at a no season. I'm still entering because I'm reluctant. And I'm like, I know I have to do it because I'm starting a business. But like, I know my yes season after this is gonna be fucking grand. And I'm so excited for it, but it's totally worth it. Another tip that I have for you guys is automate your savings. Because I grew up in poverty and because I grew up with parents that didn't know financial literacy and the way that they tackled money was just not healthy, I have too many savings to some degree. I have 3 savings. I have a fun saving that I can use for emergencies or to travel, which is what I use to pay my ticket to St. Lucia for my birthday this year. And I have another savings that I use when I don't have enough money to pay certain things in my life. And then I have an emergency saving that I just leave there. It's actually in a high yield savings account and I just leave it there and it makes money for me. So 10 out of 10 recommend. If you follow Dave Ramsey, you already know that from the 7 baby steps, baby step number 1 is to have an emergency fund. I cannot, if you don't listen to any of these, make sure that you listen to this one. Have an emergency fund. Having an emergency fund gives you such peace of mind, especially for me right now when I'm in debt because I started this business and it's summer and it's slow and I work in a restaurant and I'm not making as much money as I used to. And I refuse to get a second job because I need to be pouring into my business and into myself and investing in myself. Girl, let me tell you, it's scary. It's scary out here not knowing how you're gonna pay your bills. This month I had to pay myself, but I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to be able to pay myself because I have all these savings. So having an emergency fund, make sure you get one. If you don't do anything else, make sure you have an emergency savings. And also create a budget. I feel like a lot of us, myself included for these last couple of months, because I've been in my yes season and just spending money, that I'm like, dude, what is my budget? What is my budget? How much can I spend? Because now I feel like my life creep is creeping on me. And because I'm not bringing in as much money as I'm used to, my lifestyle is still the same. So now I can really see the difference of like, damn, I didn't have money to go to Chick-fil-A 3 times this week. And I didn't have money to go to Fresh Kitchen, which I love. I love Fresh Kitchen. But like, damn, I either need to cut back or I need to make more money. So choose, baby. You gotta choose. But creating a budget really makes you face what your financial situation is right now. Because some people, they are in a financial situation that they can fix if they look at it. I feel like too many people are scared to look at their bank account. You gotta look. And the last tip I have for this is stop following the trends. You don't need that new iPhone. Your phone is fine. You don't need to go shopping at Zara. You don't need to go shopping at Shein, and you don't need to be shopping at Temu, okay? Just because it's cheap does not mean that you need it. Okay, stop wasting money on stupid things. That's what they want us to do. That's what keeps us in poverty. They want us to spend all this money on bullshit because we forget that to make money, we give our time, and time is something that we can never get back. We can get money back, but we can never get our time back. And some of us are living paycheck to paycheck. Some of us are getting paid minimum wage. Like seriously, spending $300 on Temu? How much of your time, of your life did you have to spend at a job that you hate to pay for that? So look at it in that perspective. And the last thing that he talks about that keep people broke and in poverty is that they don't invest in themselves. So just like we were talking about, all that money that you're trying to spend to keep up with the trends, invest on yourself. Instead of buying that pair of Jordans, buy a course that will teach you something. Learn something on YouTube. And I'm guilty of this in the sense that I feel like a lot of these like courses on Instagram and all these things, it's a scam. First of all, there's so many things that you can just learn on YouTube for the free ski. I just made a video on this. Layla Hermosi and Alex Hermosi, if you're learning about business, give so much free game. And so many other people on YouTube, like you can learn so much from the YouTube platform. So make sure that when you do buy a course, it's from someone reputable, not some like Instagram coach, because definitely a scam. A lot of the things that they do say you can find for free on YouTube, Instagram, or Google. But investing on yourself is one of the best things that you can do. And I feel like when I started this business and had this idea for this app, I was like, I actually made a video of this and I was like, I almost got scammed for $5,000. And the app was gonna be $10,000 at the time. Right now we're like at $16,000. Pray for me. Y'all better download this motherfucking app, okay? Anywho. But when the app was at $10,000, I had to sit with myself and talk like, if this doesn't work out and I lose $10,000, how would I feel? And can I handle that? And I said, hell yeah, I can handle that because I'm investing in myself. I can either put $10,000 on random crap or I can spend $10,000 betting on me. And I choose to bet on me. I choose to learn on me. I choose to spend this money on bettering my life for the future. And whenever we invest in ourselves, it's not a waste, you know. For the people that went to college, I have my bachelor's in biology. It's not a waste when we invest in ourselves. I think it just gets a little scarier because we're taught all of our lives that, oh, if you go in debt to go to school, that's fine. You know, you go in debt like $100,000 or $50,000 and then you get a $50,000 a year job, that's fine. But if you go in debt for starting a business, oh, that's scary. You know? And I literally have to remind myself constantly that, hey, Giselle, you don't have any student loans. I think I have like $5,000 of student loans. Other people have hundreds of $1,000s in student loans. So you spending almost $20,000 on a business that can possibly the business will be successful, because we got to talk like that, right? Positive affirmations, positive thinking, positive attitude, like it's totally worth it. So it's worth spending the $20,000. It's worth going into debt for it. So wish me the best of luck. But that's a wrap. I just wanted to talk to you guys about the 3 top things that are keeping us broke and in poverty. And I'm not trying to be any of those things. And I know you guys are not trying to be those things either. We're all about growth here. I love you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.